Howdy, folks. Welcome to Yonder and Tales by Rick Goodell. That's me. I'm Rick Goodell. Now, some folks call me Yonder, but that's another story for another day. We'll cover it sometime. Today, I just want to, before I start this poem, I want to tell you a little bit about the different approach to this one. Those of you who follow my channel, you know that my best poems, at least I think my better poems, are typically inspired by beautiful paintings by really, really good cowboy artists who generously allow me to post a picture of those paintings on my website alongside the poem. But this one wasn't that way. I just came across an old chuck wagon picture. It was out on the prairie and was broken down, wheel off, kitchen drawers pulled out, canvas off, bows exposed, That got me to really thinking about what was it really like on those cattle drives? I mean, we all know the Hollywood version, the stampedes, of course, in every one, and Indian encounters sometimes, or bad hombres cutting the herd. Of course, the most dangerous part was crossing those rivers, the Brazos or the Red, other rivers. We don't talk about the friendships that had to get forged. Now, of course, on those drives, several of the hands might have been riding for the brand for a long time, but very often they picked up a new hand or two or three to push those horns north. And the encounters that they came across had to forge some serious friendships. And then I got thinking about those Eastern journalists who come out to romanticize the West and write their dime novels, and all that rumbled around in my head, and I come up with this rhyme that I called Greenhorn MacKenzie. Out riding last week, I come across an old chuck wagon all broken down. And that brought to mind lively times past before I had to up and move into town. My eyes blurred a mite, pondering a friend of mine who's passed. We rode a cattle trail one year and forged us a friendship that would last. Now, Ian MacKenzie, he was a learned man. He'd been to college back east. Being proud of something he called letters, he come west to see the beast. He fancied himself a journalist, doing a write-up he called freelance. Wanted to write a first-hand story about life with cattle and romance. So he shows up right at Roundup and tells us of his need. Said it would interest city folks in fancy parlors they would read. Trail boss says, "Come on along. We'll drive the Chisholm Trail. Abilene's the railhead. You're bound to want a bale. Of course, you'll have to pull your freight. We'll see if you'll abide. Don't expect you'll last till sunset. Sure hoping you can ride." I was on the Yale equestrian team, so yes, I can indeed. I'll do whatever it is you ask. I'll engage whatever you need. Well, the boss, he was a mite skeptic, but being short a hand or two, he tells him, "Stash your gear. Reckon you'll have to do." Days passed and they were long, but that Scottish lad pulled his grit. Boss worked him hard in dust at drag. Long days in saddle he'd sit. And he never complained of doing whatever he was entrusted. We figured he was just writing his story, too busy to be disgusted. The fact is, though, he was pure D silent. He never spoke a word. Come sunset, we'd gather for storying, but the Scotsman was not to be heard. Till one night about 4 weeks out, when for Chuck we gathered, that Scotsman opened up. In 2 hours, non-stop, he palavered. "I'm a man of education, even studied some anatomy, but I must say quite frankly, this drive's teaching things to me. Did you know there's a spot between your backside and your front, where bones sit right on saddle tree? All day they make me grunt. It don't get better when I quit. When I step down, it ain't so pretty. Who wants to see a grown man cry? Ain't said such fearing your pity. Still don't rightly know the names of body parts I've discovered. Suppose I need more formal schooling to get technicalities uncovered. We Scots are blamed for being misers, for pinching every wee penny. And though it's not widely known, 'Twas a rare thing I ever had any. I come out here to write a story, earn $1 romance in the West. But what I've ended up with is an unexpected personal test. There may be enchantment found in the beauty of this land. Clearly there's fascination in this loyalty and riding for the brand. There's much to be highly boasted of the clean air we're breathing, the free roam and the pure water and the cities behind we're leaving. But what I've learned is unexpected. To the far horizon it's reaching. You lads sweat and freeze for untold days. Nay, it's me you've been a teaching. There is a fine-honed brotherhood. It sits quiet but proud among you boys. To have been accepted to this band is among my life's greatest joys. It's been a rare thing, this ride, and sure as my name is Ian, I'll look back to days riding with y'all and sightseeing. I'll get on the train in Abilene. I'll go east and write my story. But my heart, oh, my heart will linger here out west, midst real men and all God's glory.